Hey there, welcome to another episode of The Night Sky this week. This is for the week of December 28th. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. For those of you, happy holidays that are celebrating now with friends and family or by yourself perhaps. With these crazy times that we're in, I hope you're having a great day. Thanks so much for joining me. Spending a few moments of your time with me, Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy. Really excited. Last week in December, we're flipping into a new year. I think a lot of us are looking forward to that, getting into a new year. I know my family is, and thanks so much for being part of my stargazing family. Looking forward to a brand new year with lots of exciting things. But before we flip that page, we're still in 2020 last week. And maybe those of you that are celebrating a holiday, maybe you got a gift under that tree, perhaps, binoculars or telescope, and or maybe a night sky guide. And you're looking to figure out what you can see in the sky in the coming days and weeks and months. And I think you're in the right spot, and I'll help you guide you into a lot of neat stuff that you can see in the sky. Easy things that you can look with just the naked eye, binoculars, and maybe perhaps with that new telescope that you got. I've got the chat room open, looking for folks everywhere. We've got folks from Ukraine, Minneapolis, Portugal, and England. Lynn is saying she's got cloudy and cold skies. I can relate to that. I'm talking to you live from Montreal, Canada. It is pretty cold, I'd say about -5 right now. And it's cloudy. I've been socked in. Here and there, some clear spots. Been able to do a little bit of stargazing since the last time we talked last week, but not too much. Spending a lot of time with family, just keeping it easy. But I'm so excited about this week too, because there's always things every week. It's unbelievable, the things that are happening in the heavens nonstop, and it doesn't matter what's going on down here on the earth. So thank you for joining me. Amal from Toronto is here. Avon from Arizona. Diane from Oregon. All over the world you guys are. So why don't we just dive in and see what we have this week up in the skies for us. So here we've got our sky as it is currently here just before sunset. We're going to go towards sunset. And one of the things that you will recognize on Monday, December 28th, is that there is a moon. There is a near full moon. We're not quite there. Full moon is on December 29th on Tuesday, but we're recording this on Monday, December 28th. So those of you who are on my live stream on YouTube, on Facebook, or Twitch, the moon will be rising not so long after sunset. So very much around your local sunset, the moon will be rising in the northeast and will be playing a big part this week in things to watch. And as those of you that do join me regularly know that I like to use the moon as a guidepost. It's a really wonderful guide. Yes, it's loud, blaringly bright in the sky, and it can be a nuisance to a lot of different types of stargazing. I know that. I've been a stargazer all my life. Telescopes, binoculars, teaching, you name it, I've done it. And I know it can be blinding, but it can also be a wonderful guidepost for those that are new to the hobby. If you're unfamiliar with the sky, the moon is a fantastic place, not just to explore it itself, but use it to orient yourself to some other things in the sky, to get you going in the hobby of stargazing. So I love looking at the moon, and that's what we're going to be doing this week as well. Those of you that are just tuning in, I do have a surprise. Wait, and keep tuning in for the end of this episode, because I will be giving away another copy of my backyard guide to the night sky, published by National Geographic. So excited about this. So I will be giving another copy away to a lucky person, one of you watching live today. So stick with me. And at the end of this episode, I'll be choosing a person. And so stay tuned for that giveaway. Maybe you'll be lucky. So getting back to the sky, December 28th, the moon is rising. But, you know, if we look towards the southwest, all that buzz that we had the last couple of weeks about our friends Saturn and Jupiter, well, they're still just absolutely beautiful in the southwest. If we look towards the southwestern sky, just after sunset, maybe about a half hour, 45 minutes after your local sunset, wherever you are, look for this beautiful pairing, the next clear night this week. Now, I've got this set up for tonight, Monday 28th, December 28th, but this is something that this week is still going to be a thing you can watch in the sky. And of course, all the buzz on the 21st of December was that they were at this record epic close approach to each other in our skies, Jupiter and Saturn was. But now they have kind of slowly moved apart from each other. And as you can see in this image through this planetarium program, we can see how they're positioned. And it's really neat because if you look at where Saturn is, you can see that Saturn has kind of moved off to the side, lower right of Jupiter. Last week when they were in conjunction, Saturn was to the upper right of Jupiter. So Saturn is really pulling away from Jupiter. And the pair itself is getting closer and closer to the southwestern horizon and will be lost in the glare of the sunset. Very soon, in a matter of a week or two, you will not be able to see that very much. So this is something that you should be on the lookout in the next few days. Tonight, give it a try. It'll be really nice to see the pair together. And they're about a degree apart. So just to give you a heads up, what the difference is between what we saw last week and compared to what we're seeing this week. So when the two were in conjunction, meaning they were at their closest approach, Jupiter and Saturn, they were about 0.1 of a degree apart. Now, how much is that? That's about at less than 1/3 of the width of a full moon. So if you think of how wide the full moon is in your sky, right? That's about 30 arc minutes apart. Sorry, like a half a degree. And that's the width of a full moon. And then this is 0.1. So this is going to be about 1/3 to 1/5 the width of a full moon. That was what the separation between Jupiter and Saturn appeared like in the sky. So some of you probably were not even able to separate the two planets. They looked like one star right? That was what they were calling the Christmas star, which is a bit erroneous because it that probably was something very different between brighter Jupiter and Venus, perhaps, or could have been a comet, an exploding star. That's if it was a real celestial event, and that's debatable. We don't know, but besides that, the point is that these two planets were so close that many of us with our eyesight had a trouble being able to distinguish the two. Now, that should not be the case anymore, because when we're looking at this, you can see that the two are clearly visible. This is to the naked eye what you would be able to see, right? So you're actually looking at what the two would be able to see. So here we can see the two close up. It's about a degree apart. So two disks of the moon would be able to fit side by side between Jupiter and Saturn. That's the spacing between the two. So really nice view. And of course, if you have a telescope, you'll get to see Jupiter much better. You see it as a disk. You see the cloud bands of Jupiter. You can see the rings of Saturn very clearly with that new telescope that you might have gotten under the tree, right? So that's something that's really beautiful to see. And of course, if we wait, let's say, move this forward after a few minutes as the skies darken, and this is like about 35, 45 minutes after your local sunset, we can see Jupiter still beautiful like that. And the moons of Jupiter would be on either side. On this image, it's not quite just dark enough yet, I think, for the moons of Jupiter to be visible. Let me see if I have them turned on. Let's see, put them on here. They should be there with the moons. But as you can see, not in this image here that I have, but the moons would be beside the planet on either side. And that's something that's visible through binoculars, really. That's something that you can see. So that's what's in store on Monday. Now, if we move over to Tuesday, and Tuesday, December 29th is when we will have a full moon rising in the east. Now, if I just get this at the right angle here, move it back here, you can see, move it up. There we, whoops, days, move this over an hour. There we go. And why is it red? I'm not quite sure here. Hold on. There we go. But it will be a full moon on December 29th, and it'll happen exactly at 10:28 p.m. Eastern time. So you just calculate that. That's 7:28 p.m. Pacific time on December 29th is the full moon, and it will be hanging around in the Gemini constellation. So all of that is happening in the east, northeastern sky at that time. So you'll have all of that kind of positioned for you on December 29th, Tuesday. Now, what's interesting also is if we head into Wednesday, you'll see that the moon will still look near full, but what will be very cool is that it'll be positioned very close to two bright stars. And these bright stars are some of my favorite ones, definitely. And you can see I'm going to just lower the amount of stars that clutter the background that you won't be able to see with the naked eye or with binoculars, but you'll see Castor and Pollux, the two brightest stars in the constellation Gemini, the twins, and they represent the heads of the twins. So this is a very neat a clustering of objects, stellar and solar system objects. Solar system in the sense that the moon, Earth's companion, will be parked very close to it. Now it's a near full moon, so the glare will be bright. And this is going to be kind of neat to be able to see these stars. Can you see them from the glare of the near full moon? Do you need binoculars to see them? I'd like to hear from you. I wonder if you're going to be able to see these, and I think you should be. but the glare of the moon will be interesting. So again, this is Wednesday, December 30th is when that will be visible. Now, also the moon. Now, when we're talking about a telescope that you perhaps got, or you have binoculars, there are lots of things that you could see on the surface of the moon. And some of the easiest things that you can look for are what are called mare, or seas. Ancient astronomers thought these dark regions on the surface of the moon was in fact these regions that were filled with water. But of course, we know that they are lava plains, actually. And if I zoom in on the moon, you can kind of see, this is kind of a view that you would get through binoculars, high magnification, through a telescope, perhaps. You would see these, and you can see these dark splotches. We're all very familiar with looking at the full moon and seeing them. But what they are really incredible, because those dark blotches on the moon that you can see even with the naked eye, they're lava plains. So they are fresher surfaces of the moon, meaning they're younger surfaces. They're not as ancient as some of the other parts of the moon that are battered with and filled with craters. I mean, there are craters in here, but not as many by far than in other regions. And we've named these regions, these mares, different names. And you can see that some of the ones that you have here, let me see if I can get some of those visible. You can see on the western side, the left side of the moon, you've got some well-known ones like the Imbrium. Mare Imbrium is this large one that you can see here. Then the Oceanus Procellarum is over here. It's hard to pronounce. Procellarum is this large one. Of course, this one is the Sea of Serenity, Mare Serenitatis. Serenitatis is an interesting one. Serenity, the Sea of Serenity. And next to it is, of course, the Sea of Tranquility, very famous for the Apollo landing. And you have other ones, the Sea of Crisis up here as well. The Sea of Fecundity is also over here. So these large ones, large dark patches on the moon, all have names to them. And you can explore them. They're really, really neat to explore these and be able to identify them. And this is something that you can do with very easily with a pair of binoculars. Definitely. And of course, there are craters that are visible too, some brighter ones than others. Like the Copernicus crater is a large crater, and you can see these white splash marks around the crater. These are called radiating crater rays, and they literally are splash marks from this impact of a large asteroid, millions or billions of years ago, that impacted on the moon, and some of them create these beautiful splash marks, crater rays that are visible around them. So fantastic to be able to see these even with binoculars and with a good guide, perhaps like my book, The Night Sky. The guide to Backyard Guide to the Night Sky would help you. I've got moon charts in there that really just allow you to explore the moon, at leisure with binoculars or with that new telescope. It really makes it a lot easier to explore something in the night sky if you have a good guidebook. It's essential, and star maps, of course, as well. So check that out. The moon is going to be really great. Something you can do with your new telescope and binoculars. Look at the mare. See if you can identify the mare with the naked eye, with binoculars. Those dark markings are going to be visible across the surface of the moon, those mares, those seas, which are really lava plains on the moon. Something really, really cool that you can do on, say, Wednesday, December 30th. Now, what else is there to see? Well, if we go and see later on December 31st, the last day, New Year's Eve, what could you see? Well, the moon has moved off to Cancer the crab. Very interesting. And this is a great way to finish the year too, is to check out a star cluster. So if you have that new pair of binoculars or maybe perhaps a small telescope, this is a fantastic site to check out. Is the moon is going to be on December 31st, Thursday, next to the Beehive Cluster. What a beautiful name, because it looks like just a bunch of bees buzzing a hive. These stars that are clustered together 610 light years away. And what do they look like? Here is a beautiful photograph of the Beehive Cluster 610 light years away, nestled within Cancer the Crab constellation. It's a really beautiful site. Highly recommend it. And it's going to be very near the moon. You can see it's just underneath, located just underneath the moon. And you can use binoculars or telescopes to scan this distance. You can see the size of the moon and how many moons you think would fit here. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 4 to 5 moon disks below the moon is where the Beehive Cluster. And so you can use the moon as a guidepost, as a measuring tool as well, and figuring out where to look for this star cluster. And it's something that you can use for many other beautiful sky treasures as well. Yeah, Rebecca, you like that, right? The Beehive Cluster. It is a beautiful site. It's something that is one of my favorite views, and especially, you look at what it looks like. It's just gorgeous. It looks like a clustering of diamonds. And through a telescope, particularly a small backyard telescope, will show off this cluster in a wonderful way, and binoculars as well. And with the near full moon, I mean, we're past the full moon, obviously here. It's a waning gibbous moon, we call that. After it's become full and it's starting to smaller and smaller portion of the disk of the moon is illuminated, we call that waning. Heading towards the new moon phase in 2 weeks. So on New Year's Eve, what a beautiful way to finish off the year is to look for this pairing of the Beehive Cluster with the moon. This is rising in the east, and this is all happening later in the evening, local time, wherever you are. Just use that moon as a guidepost. And if you wait longer at night, so say local midnight time, after all that revelry, ringing in the new year, you'll see that it will be high up by after midnight. You'll be looking towards the high southern sky for that moon and Beehive Cluster close up. You can see them right there in Cancer the Crab constellation. So that's really cool. Cool way to end the year. And you'll notice a lot of really interesting other stars in the area as well. One that will be pinning down the area just to the lower right of the moon will be the star Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, one of the closest stars that we know of to the solar system, at just about 8.6 light years away. So that's really cool to be able to see that. The moon, again, being a guidepost and kind of getting you oriented in what the night sky has to offer. So another really, really interesting thing that you can see on Friday, let's see if we move back. Let me just see in a few hours, and then we move into the next day. So Friday, here we are, and we're going to move it into later on. So the first day of 2021, you will see later at night, and this is, I would say, is around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock on January 1st, Friday. You'll see that the moon is heading towards a position right in front of the mouth of Leo the Lion. Leo the Lion constellation. Again, this is in the east, and pinning down Leo's heart is the star Regulus. Regulus is a bright star, blue-white star. You can't miss it. It's about 79 light years away. Beautiful blue-white star, just gorgeous. Looks like a blue-white diamond shining, and that marks the heart of Leo the lion. It used to be called Cor Leonis in Latin, the heart of the lion. Now it's called Regulus, and it's just going to be very close to the moon. A great, great view for the first day of January. Now, another great thing an observing challenge for those of you maybe with binoculars and telescopes, it'll be a cinch, but with the naked eye is a little bit of a challenge, is to see if we go towards the northern sky. And those of you in the northern hemisphere, this is for you, my friends, stargazing friends in the northern hemisphere. Look for, I'm going to maybe head a little bit earlier in the evening, or later, I should say, about midnight again. On Saturday and Sunday, something you can try is look for the middle star in the Big Dipper, the tail of Ursa Major, the Big Bear, in the tail section, the back end here. And if you look at the Big Dipper, the handle of the Big Dipper marks the tail of the Big Bear. And what's really cool is the middle star in the handle. If I'm zooming in, as you can see, that middle star, let me zoom out a little bit for you, and you can see there's the 3 stars that mark the handle of the Big Dipper. But that middle star is interesting because it's not just one star. It's actually a pair of stars. And you can see 2 stars with the naked eye if you have good vision. This is a good vision test. And it's an observing challenge I put out to you guys. Can you see 2 stars marking the middle star of the handle of the Big Dipper? So here's the Big Dipper. It'll be low in the sky in the northeast, late at night. And you look for the end star of the handle, and then the second star right there, called Mizar, is actually a pair of stars. And you can see its pair member is named Alcor. Alcor and Mizar is a beautiful pairing of stars that you can, many of you, separate with just the eye. It's a great vision test. Try it out. Ancient hunters used to, when they had teaching their young apprentices to go out on hunting trips. This is ancient humans used to do this as a test. And if they could tell the difference between, if they could separate these 2 stars and see 2 stars instead of 1, they had good enough vision, they felt, that they could go out and go hunting by themselves on hunting expeditions. And so ancient humans used this as a vision test. So I think it's really cool. Can you see 2 stars, Mizar and Alcor, or do you see 1? And it really depends on your eyesight. Now, to make it easy, if you have binoculars, you'll see something like this. You'll be able to separate the 2. Easily, Alcor and Mizar will appear as 2 separate stars. And if you have the benefit of a nice telescope, well, then it becomes even more interesting, because what you'll notice is, if you zoom in very closely, that they have their Mizar is also a pair of stars. Look at that. Mizar is actually 2 stars. So if you go into high magnification, you can see that it is in fact a pair of stars. Isn't that neat? That's with a telescope now. So what I'm saying is a double star. That's what you're able to see. And there's Alcor, even under high magnification. See, that's a single star. But Mizar can easily be separated with a small backyard telescope. Mizar and Alcor can be separated with just a naked eye for some people, easily with binoculars. And by the way, the pair is about 75 to 81 light years away. So you're looking at something that's almost basically a human lifetime, is how long it takes the light to come from these pair of stars. It's really fascinating. And where is all this action happening? In the handle, the second star in the handle of the Big Dipper. That's an observing challenge I have out for you this week. Try it out anytime this week, but maybe perhaps with the moon out of the way later in the week, after the 1st of January. And to round out the week, guess what? We've got, what else do we got? Is a meteor shower. The quadranatids. Now, the quadranatid meteor shower, funny name, hard to pronounce, is what I like to call is the New Year's shower. So what a great way to kick off the new year with a shower peaking on January 2nd, Saturday night, into early Sunday morning, January the 3rd. This is a beautiful yearly event, and it's something that you can expect sometimes upwards of 60 to 80 shooting stars per hour, but with the moon shining in the sky in the late hours. Let me just move this to January 2nd, and we'll look at it in the late hours. This is around 11. You can see that the moon will be shining high in the sky. This will, unfortunately, the moon's bright glare will drown out a lot of the views that you have. As you can see right here, there's the moon. The waning gibbous moon will be up high in the sky late at night. And so maybe perhaps the best time to see it will be earlier in the evening. So as soon as darkness falls on Saturday night, January 2nd, look for the New Year's meteor shower falling. You can expect maybe up to 20, 30 shooting stars. We don't really know. Count them. See, share with me. I'd love to hear what you can see. But the New Year's shower is usually very good, quite prolific, but a lot of people don't hear about it because guess what? It's during the holiday season and it's smack dab in the middle of winter for a lot of us. This is best seen in the northern hemisphere, but those of you in the southern hemisphere, you're not counted out. You'll still see straggler shooting stars, no doubt about it. But the most action is going to be visible for right across the northern hemisphere. So do watch for that. So amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Lots of things to see in the sky. So with that, I think it's time for a giveaway. So I've got my backyard guide to the night sky. It's a fantastic guidebook that I've so excited to have been able to put together with the help of National Geographic, amazing folks there, my publisher. And I was able to pack it with a lot of the tips and tricks that I have grown up using, learning from generations of stargazers before me. I'm very fortunate here in Montreal to have been studying with some of the best amateur astronomers out there in the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. So I've learned over the decades so many amazing things of how to get the best out of night sky, and I've incorporated all of those things that I've learned in a lifetime of sky watching into this book right here. And I'd love to give a copy away to one of you. And I will give away this copy to the 10th person that says the words clear skies in the comment. Clear skies to the 10th person. After this show, I'll make sure I'll look and I will contact you personally, the winner. Only for those, by the way, only for those that are in North America, so in Canada or the US, unfortunately, for National Geographic, they will mail you a copy for you. So any of you in the US and Canada, 10 person who says clear skies, I can see you guys going for it right there. That's great. So with that, I wanted to mention also that stay tuned. I'm going to have special videos, one on the best events for the January 2020 to give you a tight little video explaining, giving you a heads up on what to expect for the best kind of sky sites that you can see for the month of January. Also, a heads up, I have an article in National Geographic that will be coming out on nationalgeographic.com of my guide, my choices for the top 10 sky watching events for 2021. So you can mark your calendar for the rest of the year, the top 10 best events. And I'll tell you, there's all kinds of neat things for you to watch. A lot of them just for the naked eye. You don't need any special equipment to really enjoy these events. And I'll have a video on that, a companion video out in a few days. So stay tuned on my YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitch as well. Wherever you're watching, I'll have links to those videos coming up real soon. So I guess with that, that's the end of another episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good time. Hope you got some good ideas of what you can use your new binoculars and telescopes or what to look for with your unaided eyes. The sky is full of amazing things, guys. Every week there's something here. So make sure you come by. If you like this video, make sure you like it. Make sure you share it with your friends and family. Show me your support by sharing it and liking my channels, subscribing to it, and you won't miss any of my future episodes and videos and sky charts that I fill my timelines on Facebook and on Twitch and Twitter, all over, all the social media out there, and Instagram as well. So do sign up and you won't miss anything about what's happening in the night sky. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you stay safe and healthy. And of course, until next time, as always, clear skies to all of you. Bye-bye.